everyone, I'm Brittany Jones Cooper, and welcome back to Build. The Fox series Star is an emotionally powerful drama that follows three talented singers seeking fame. Today, I'm chatting with one of its stars, Amaya Scott, who plays the feisty and complicated character Cotton. In addition to acting, Amaya is an outspoken advocate for the LGBTQ community. But before we bring her out, let's check out a clip from Star.
Where have you been? Had the label, right?
I'm sorry. This week has been crazy.
This week? My whole damn life. First it was the music, then Mary's Girls, now Noah. I needed you this week.
I know.
I blame you for this.
Hey, don't talk to your mother.
When I ran off to be with Grandma, you told me don't come back until I became a man, so I tried to be a man. And I got with Nikisha for you, so that you would take me back.
I'm sorry.
Now my son is about to die because I tried to be something that I wasn't.
Everybody help me welcome Amaya Scott to the stage. How you doing?
How are you? I'm happy to be here.
I love this outfit. It's very springy. It's finally feeling like we can wear light colors
Thank
again.
you so much. The weather is actually starting to get normal again, if that makes sense. You know, it's been so cold for so long.
I know.
So it feels good to have on some cutouts.
You live in Atlanta, though, right?
Yes.
So that's where you shoot Star?
Yes.
So at least you have better weather than we do. So about Star, we just saw a clip of your character Cotton. The show is so dramatic and fun to watch. Can you give everybody a little idea of who Cotton is?
Cotton Brown is Carlotta's daughter, who is played by Queen Latifah. She's a trans woman who, I think when the show started, she was like 20 years old, 21, but I think that she is in the beginning stages of finding herself. I think that she is battling for acceptance. And yeah, she's just very outspoken. She's feisty. I see a lot of myself in Cotton, or I see a lot of Cotton in myself. I think that Cotton, in a sense, is the voice for those who may feel different or feel like they don't have a place or that they don't have a tribe, so to speak. Cotton is amazing to me. I'm so thankful to play her.
And so this is now the second season.
Yes.
So how have you approached the role differently from the first season to now?
I think that it's just the growth that comes along with it. Like, I myself am a trans woman as well, but I would say that I'm much further along in my transition. So having to dial back or to channel back to a point to make it authentic and relatable, I think is one of the most difficult things for me, because it's almost like knowing better, but still having to portray or act like you don't. And it's not bad at all, because again, I want it to be authentic. Cotton and Amaya are two different people. And I remember when I was Cotton's age. I remember when I didn't have all the answers or know myself as well as I do now, or was not as comfortable with myself. So I just think about those times and those moments, and that's what I kind of use or channel when I'm portraying Cotton.
Definitely. And Cotton has a new thing to deal with this season. She has a son.
Yes.
So that is a storyline I think that surprised a lot of people, but why do you think it's important to show her parenting?
Well, I believe that it's the representation that matters, because there are some trans individuals who have kids. There are people who have lives, and though it may not be as common, I still think to be represented is very important. So there is a trans woman or a trans man who can watch that show and feel like, yo, that's me. You know?
Yeah, definitely. I think the more representation, the better.
Yeah.
And have you had any feedback from fans or viewers about that?
Yes. I think that what they do with Cotton's storyline is amazing to me. I didn't know how she was just going to be loved. You know, people seem to really love my character, and they connect with her, and that means so much to me. Something that Lee told me is that when people fall in love with the fictional character, that's how you know that you're doing your job right. And that meant a lot to me, because like, this was my first acting experience. So it's really, it just kind of comes naturally. So to have it accepted, or to have people appreciate my art and my craft, it really means so much.
So you mentioned this is your first role, and what a first role to have, a Lee Daniels show on Fox, a major network. You're the first trans woman to be a series regular on a network TV show. Guys, give that a round of applause. That is so amazing. How did you get tapped to be a part of this show?
Believe it or not, I was actually discovered on Instagram by Lee Daniels' sister. So don't let people tell you that it's just social media. Social media is huge. It's a major platform, and you can put yourself out there. Not to go into advice, but it's like you should use your social media to project yourself, to put your best foot forward. And I didn't really know what was going to come from it, but I knew that I enjoyed taking pictures. I enjoyed sharing my life, and somehow here I am today.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable to think, but it was Lee Daniels' sister. He wrote the role of Cotton, and I guess he was talking to her about it, and she was like, "I know the girl. I've seen the girl," which happened to be me. They told me after the fact, and yeah, it's just amazing going into it. It's funny because when you're little, you watch TV or you want to be a singer or an actor or see yourself on the big screen, and it's like, had you asked me 5 years ago, I never would have, thought that I would be on television right now. So it's just such a blessing, and I'm so thankful for it.
Yeah. And before this, I read, and correct me if I'm wrong, you were considering being on Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Yes, I was. That was also a situation that was brought to me, and yeah, I really had a great time filming it. I had a great time with all the ladies. I made some great relationships. I just don't think that it was the right fit for me. I know the different stories. I mean, how the media does, and they spin things and twist things, but I actually made some great relationships. It didn't seem to work out, but I think that it didn't because this was,
And I saw on Star, it's Derek J, right? Is his name?
No, that's Miss Lawrence.
Miss Lawrence. But
Yeah.
she is on.
She was on Housewives
Yeah,
of Atlanta
so
with
it's
Derek
fun to
J
see
and
the-
the fashion queens. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, Atlanta is such a family-oriented place, So, all the housewives and the ladies and everything, they're just amazing women.
So let's talk about your background a little bit. You're from New Orleans.
Yes.
I love that. When did you get into entertainment? Did you know from a young age that this is something you wanted to do?
Again, like I said, it's when you're younger, you sing in the mirror with a hairbrush, or you would mimic people on television. So did I have a feeling that it was going to be something? Yes, but I had no idea. And then when I began to transition, I believe that not to say it like that, but my transition became my number one priority. So dreams and aspirations and things that I had to low-key put aside because that was my main focus. And yeah, stepping into the acting world, at first it was very intimidating. I work among the greats. My parents were Queen Latifah and Benjamin Bratt. I mean, I think within the first episode, I met Lenny Kravitz and Naomi Campbell and stuff like this. So it's so surreal, you know what I mean, to me at times, because though we're all working together, it's when I take a moment and just process, wow, I'm here right now, or wow, that's Queen Latifah giving me advice. It's just surreal.
And did you have any hesitations going into such a public forum? We live in the age of Twitter. There's so much criticism and hate and trolls out there.
Yeah.
Did you ever worry about that, or did you just decide to move forward?
I'm not gonna front. At first, I was slightly nervous because in the back of my mind, or I think with everyone, sometimes we tend to worry about what people think or who's going to accept us. But what you have to realize is you have to do what you have to do. Once I got over the initial shock, and I think my nervousness came from me just not knowing how I was going to do. I'm somewhat of a perfectionist, so by me not having any acting experience, I didn't know how it was going to be taken. I didn't know if my performance was going to be good. So that was really the only thing that I was worried about, because I try not to let what people think of me kind of worry me. People's opinions of you don't kind of dictate who you are, nor do they change your character or anything like that. So I know that people are going to have their opinions, but that's why I just try to hold my head high and be confident with everything that I do.
Absolutely. And at the same time, you know that you are inspiring so many people at the same time. I'm sure you get tweets and messages from your viewers all the time.
Yeah.
And you do a lot of work in the LGBTQI community. You're actually going to be at the GLAAD Media Awards this
Yes,
this
I am.
weekend,
It's going
right?
to be Saturday.
Yeah, and you're introducing Reggie Bullocks, who's a basketball player
Yes,
whose
whose
sister was a
sister.
trans woman and she was murdered.
Yes.
And this is something that we hear about time and time again. So why is it important for you to be in a place where you can speak about these issues?
I think that it's to bring awareness. We sadly are sad enough to say we don't hear about all the trans murders. We don't even hear about a majority of them. I believe that it was last year was one of the most violent years for trans women. And yeah, to be able to spread awareness, to be able to, because that's the thing. Some people choose to be ignorant, and some people genuinely just don't know. So that's why I try to, though hard at times, because it can be borderline disrespectful with the ignorance, but I try to use like the education or to, you know what I mean, to speak to someone to at least try to get them to see it from a different perspective, you know?
Absolutely. It's not easy to change hearts and minds, but
not.
I think it's possible.
Yeah.
You just have to kind of stick with it, unfortunately. It's
Yeah.
like a,
I mean, I'll do what I can, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Some people are just set in their ways.
absolutely. And so back to the show, your storylines are so intense. I mean, there's so much family drama. There's jail. There's people trying to cure Cotton. There's relationship drama. There's abuse. How fun is it to really just dive into all of that?
I think, well, first is, I mean, like, though it's drama filled, I think that it's realistic. Like, all of my storyline, I can honestly think of it happening. I know people who it has happened to, but with me telling that story, I think that it's an honor. Like, I kind of go into it and I feel very honored to be able to represent people who are less represented. And yeah, like, it's exciting. Sometimes I'm shocked, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I read the script sometime and I'm like, wow, like the most recent one when my son was introduced, I'm like, whoa. Like, it's like, really? And I mean, yeah, I think that it's realistic. I think that that's what I really like about Star. It's authentic. And I know that people can take, though it may be different things, I think that people can take things from it and relate.
What is another storyline that you were just like, come on, what is this? It's crazy.
Oh my God, like all of it really. When Cotton went to jail, I think that was crazy. And then they threw acid on her back. And oh, no. When Cotton didn't know that her father was her father and she pushed up on him, I think that was the one. I was like, are we really doing this? You know?
I can hear the audience being like, yep, I remember that.
But Ben is a great, you know what I mean, like a great guy, a great actor, and he made the scene really, really comfortable. But just thinking about what we were portraying, it's like that is my dad, and I am attempting to sleep with him, and my mom catches us like, oh, wow.
That is some heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Are there ever days where the scenes are hard to leave behind
Yeah.
and you take it home with you?
Yeah, I think by me being where I am in life, you know, I have kind of struggled and went through a lot of different things, you know, being misgendered, being disrespected, things of that nature. So sometimes, though I don't let it get to me, it does slightly, like, it's just kind of difficult to be misgendered and to be a trans woman, whether you're acting or not, you know. But I know that I'm telling a story and I take it in stride, and I just want Cotton to be happy. I think that Cotton deserves to be happy.
I love that. So you love Cotton.
Oh, yeah. I have grown to really love Cotton. I really do, yeah.
And so the show is known for having some of the most amazing guest stars. You mentioned Lenny Kravitz, Brandy, Patti LaBelle, Missy Elliott, Evan Ross.
Goes on and on. Luke James.
It's nonstop.
It's amazing.
So how fun is that? Are there any fun stories? I mean, do you have any good, is Patti LaBelle funny?
Patty is hilarious. Patty bought a truck full of patty pies and cobblers.
Yes, patty
One time
pies.
to set. She is just so warm and so loving. And the scene when she, Queen Latifah, and Brandy was singing in the church. Like, a lot of us weren't like on that actual scene, but we all drove to go see it. Because I mean, if Patty is in a church, you go see it, and she brought patty pies and stuff. And I think what I'm really fortunate for, like, again, by it being my first experience, I didn't know what to expect. But for some of the more seasoned actors on set, they say that we just have a really good set, and that's really, really rare. We are so family oriented. You know, it's love beyond the camera. Once, you know, things stop, we still have a relationship. And I'm just, you know, thankful to have gained a new family.
Do you think that's because of Lee Daniels? That's what I've heard about his personality, is that he's just really brings people together.
Yeah, like, I think that he just has an amazing eye for putting personalities together. And maybe I think it was just fate, you know, because sometimes, I mean, people can be good at their jobs, but that doesn't mean that they'll personally get along. And that's what I think makes us so fortunate, because we are good at our jobs, but then we're also good people on side of it. Like each and every person, especially the guys, and I want to shout them out because they've made me feel so comfortable and not like I've never felt like out of place, and that's so awesome.
That's really special.
Yeah.
And one more note on Lee Daniels. He's obviously worked with some of the greats. What's the best piece of advice he's given you?
Wow, Lee has given me some great advice. I think it was within me like coming into the show and acting for the first time. He just stressed to me to be natural, and it's so crazy because you would think when you're acting that you would have to act and be like, here I am, and if you just relax and just, you know what I mean. He just told me to be myself, and I think that that's what like it comes across more authentic.
So you have the show.
Yeah.
Your Instagram has 1 million followers. You're a very busy woman.
Yeah.
What else are you working on, or is that enough?
I'm actually so excited to announce that I'm going to be releasing my first book. It's going to be called, it's going to be called Memoirs of a Mermaid. And I'm just so excited. It's been a long time coming, and I think that I just had to learn certain things. I needed to come full circle before I could kind of reflect back and break things down the way that they needed to be. And I found peace. And I think that is, I cry thinking about it because it's been something that I've searched and fought so long for. And to find that now I want to share my story and my journey and my wins and my losses and my ups and my downs, because it's made me who I am today. And I think that if it could even help one person, then it's well worth it.
Absolutely. And can you explain the title a little bit?
Well, I have a thing for mermaids, and I don't want to say too much. This is actually my first time talking about it. I see you trying to get the tea out me, girl.
Trying.
But I think that mermaids and trans individuals go hand in hand. First, because the bottom is a fin, so that leaves it up to the imagination. You really don't have to identify as certain things. And then there are a lot of different reasons, but I'm going to break it down in the book that you'll have to read to find out.
Well, thank you for sharing that
No
part.
problem.
I think now's a good time to go to some audience questions.
Hi, I wanted to know, with people like yourself and people like Laverne Cox, do you feel, in your opinion, that more transgender voices are being heard and being seen on the big screen?
Yeah.
And what is some of the best advice, the rest of the cast of the show has given you?
Yes, I would say, well, first of all, a major shout out to Laverne. Such a sweet woman. She was so sincere, and I think by her, because she's a groundbreaker, she's come in and she's opened doors for even me, but I think to have done what she's done and then to still been so authentic and so nice and so sincere to me, I think that that's so commendable. And yes, I do think that with what we're doing, hopefully it does open up more doors and more roles for trans individuals to play, not only trans individuals, just to live and to be free. I think that that's what I really would like, to step outside of the box and not only to be a trans character, to just be a woman, Though I'm not ashamed of who I am at all, sometimes it is to always be introduced as the trans woman Amaya Scott, the transgendered woman Amaya Scott. I'm a woman.
Because it's not true inclusion, it's still sort of separating you for sure.
Yeah.
And I saw the back and forth between you and Laverne on Twitter. You seem very supportive of each other. And I love that as a space for women, as a space for Black women, that you don't have to be in competition.
That's what I think that is so dope for us to have gotten to that point, because, and I know as women, they try to make us compete and pin us against each other, and they make it seem like it's not enough of room. Why does it have to be me or her? Or why does it have to be you or her? Or there's enough for all of us.
Absolutely. We have one more question?
Hi.
Hi.
I was wondering if you get the opportunity to be in the writer's room and pitch storylines.
I actually do. I'm not a writer, so I can't go in and say I want this to happen. But sometimes they come to you and they ask you, where do you see your character going? They ask you just your opinion on things and stuff like that. So when, hopefully going into season 3, when I go into the writer's room, I'm going to demand Cotton to be happy, and hopefully she will be.
Gonna get that happy ending no matter what.
I hope so, She's been through so much in the last few seasons. I just want her to not attempt to have sex with her dad, or have a love child, or, you know what I mean?
It's really not too much to ask.
Or get choked underwater. Wow, it had, now since I'm thinking about it, sis has been through a lot.
She deserves a break.
Justice for
Right.
Cotton.
Justice, hashtag justice for Cotton. And I think we have one more question before we go.
Hi. So I know we just had a crossover before with Star and Empire.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if your character had a chance to cross over, which characters would you want to interact with from that show?
I would love to work with Cookie if we happen to cross over with Empire. I think that Cookie and Cotton would be fire.
Yes.
I think so, because I love Taraji. The crazy part is I was a huge, and still am, a huge Empire fan. I mean, like, die hard. So that's what makes it so amazing. Just think about you supporting and watching a show and posting about it. And anyone who follows me knows. I mean, I was a die-hard fan, and to now be a part of that family, it's like, won't he do it?
Right. I like how you say fire. I think it would be an explosion. Those two on screen together would be really, really fun.
Cookie and Cotton, it would be very sassy, to say the least.
Well, Maya, I've had so much fun chatting
I
with
had
you
such
today.
a great time.
Make sure you guys check out Star. It airs on Wednesdays at 9, 8 Central on Fox. Give it up for Maya.